What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Live in the Garden podcast, Lit G Podcast. I'm your host, Dino, from Dino's Finos. And our other host, Mask Grower 98, is somewhere. But he'll be here in a moment. But until he gets here, I am going to try and see if I can put up this material. I don't think I can. I need to switch my layout as well. Done. And then banners. Um, is it? Link address. See if this does anything. See what this does, y'all. I'm still trying to figure out this. Where did my StreamYard page go? There it is. This is some of the content we will be covering. This is some of the content we will be covering today, and this is the stuff that we will be going over. As far as for cover crops and building soil, and a more in-depth look at cover crops and understanding of them and how to use them. So there's that. And then to upload this one. Come on. And we will also be using. Oh, that undo. Yeah, thank you. What? Undo. That was not cool.
Yo, yo,
Yo,
what up?
what up?
What's going on? Just finishing watering these plants real quick,
Nice.
but I am here and I am on time.
Y'all are both on time today.
It looks like you're frozen on your Charlie Chaplin face.
Yeah, I'm downloading this material.
On your Hitler face. Yeah, you're definitely frozen though.
You can still hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
We want to see ya. Yeah, I'm finishing watering these plants in the deck real quick. Just got a couple gallons.
For sure. Okay. Got this other stuff. right. And this is the link to the other information PDF that we will be going over today. Next up is cover crop. This one is a cover crop chart, easy to read, easy to understand. Both are very, very informational on cover crops and how to show how to use cover crops properly. Young and food. And my face will periodically be frozen throughout some of this because actually no, you know what? I have another mic. Scratch that. So yeah, let me put you all back like this. Let me grab all my other stuff.
There you are. That's a lot, y'all. What up, Pandora?
All right. I am back. Pull up my information.
All right, 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. Hmm. Hopefully that sun drifts over that way. Or the sun, the clouds drift over. Can't even cover that sun. What's going on, Tandoori Farms? Thanks for tuning in. Hey, buddy, if you could you send out a link to everybody to the channel? meant to do that this morning and forgot about it. Okay, this other chart, this other thing. Closer to me. My phone is in the sun. No fun. Alright, I guess I'll go back to the tree. Alright. This is what I wanted.
What?
Chapter 10. Listen. right. Got that out. Oh, there we go. Better, y'all.
Just getting set up on my deck right now in my garden.
Here. Oh, that's not gonna work. Sorry, y'all. Thought we was ready. I guess that's what I get for thinking, right? I think I like that. I like that spot. A little table over here, aka trash can, aka a compost sifter. Hey, get out of here, Ant. You're having a coffee, fool. You done watering them plants yet? Smoke one while we wait for mass. And put this phone in. And we will be reading, I will be reading right now from the SAR, or SARE, sorry, the SARE page. And I'm actually using their page and not the PDF. It's easier to just access this information through their scrolling through all of the information on the PDF. But nonetheless, it's the same. Like to follow along with your PD on the PDF, go for it. But I'm going to use the actual page information. So we are going to start with cover crops, chapter 10, because that's what this episode is based on, is cover crops and building our soil. There are some other things that we will cover that are before all this, but I want to start with cover crop because right now is the time we should be planting in our fall winter cover crop, which we will get into a bit. So, without further ado, let's smoke one and then get into it. So I apologize for the traffic you guys may hear coming through.
Alrighty. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you.
Cool.
Can you guys hear me fine? Should I use my earpiece? Yeah, if Tandori, if you could share a screenshot on your IG, that'd be great. I do it on mine, but mine keeps asking me for access. The Samsung thing keeps asking me for access. Nah, nah. I know y'all is involved with each other, so just get it from some one of them. Oh, cover crops, cover crops, cover crops, you guys. So right now is the season, the time to be planting your next cover crop layer. That cover crop layer should consist of um, cover crops that will either die naturally or, if you want, get some cold hardy. Use some cold hardy cover crops. That'll go off. That'll go into the next year. But really no point because you're. I mean, there is, but can't say that. But you will need to lay down spring cover crop when the time comes, because eventually that other cover crop will die. Um, depending on what you've planted. So, and also depending on what you're going for in your soil is going to depend on what cover crops you are planting. So keep those in mind. If you're going for nitrogen, you're going to want to plant things. You're going to want to plant legumes. Legumes are nitrogen fixers. But remember from our last episode, I said that they need to be inoculated with the right rhizobia in order to nodulate that that nitrogen into the soil and on their roots. Um, so right now you should be planting. Right now you should be planting. You can plant some clovers and stuff. But like winter rye, a lot of grasses, some brassicas, and some beans. You're gonna want to plant a nice mix right now, because that's gonna winterize. Uh, I think I used the right word. Um, or that yeah, that's gonna overwinter and it's gonna die, and that's gonna protect the soil over winter from freezing temperatures, depending on where you live. Um, and then that next row of cover crops is gonna get green mulched in along with your manure or your compost or whatever you're doing, preferably not straight manure. Hopefully, it's compost and fresh soil. But that will all that layer, that armor layer that protected the soil over the winter up to spring, will then become the new tilth layer that's added to your soil, which will also retain moisture throughout the season as it breaks down. Now, depending on what you're using, things are going to take longer to break down. Like certain grasses are going to take longer to break down, as opposed to like legumes or like broadleaf cover crops. Obviously, broadleaf cover crops, because there's a bigger surface area and the leaves are going to be thicker. Depending on that broadleaf cover crop, like carrots, for example, carrots are considered a broadleaf cover crop. Really, unlike um, some grasses or radish, which produce like not triticale, but triticale is a grass, but daikon radish has big, large, broad leaves, and those are gonna take longer to break down because they're thicker. The cell walls of the leaves are a lot thicker um, than some brassicas like clovers and stuff like that. It's really clovers and vetch are pretty thin. Um, but there are some brassicas that are thicker than others. Like you got like broccolis and stuff like that that could be used for cover crop. Um, but sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yeah.
Yeah, sorry about the lawnmower going on in the background. I can't control that. It's a neighbor.
Hey, if you can tell him, that's fine. If you can tell him to just fucking turn it down just a little bit, just turn the volume down a little bit, it'll be okay.
Yeah, you want me to turn it down a little more?
No, 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 no. Tell the your neighbor to turn his lawnmower down a little bit.
Okay.
Turn the volume on the lawnmower down a little bit. He doesn't have to
Yeah,
stop working.
I, I
Turn the
just
volume
turned
down.
I just turned down my mic volume a little bit. If it was a
No
problem.
worries, bro. No
Um,
worries. Uh, I'm breaking up weed, making sure I'm not gonna pack a seed.
so with my with I don't have any of my leaves because I don't have like any of my like fan leaves or like any of the small stems and the main proportions of the plants anymore, the compost, because it was just kind of if I had harvested them and whatever was left, then I would have composted that. But I still do have some stalks, so like could I could burn the stalks and then compost that, right? I mean that's probably
Yeah, if
a
you want to throw this.
thing.
My
What?
wife calling on this phone. Hang on.
Yeah, no, I saw,
I
like
have the other phone.
just wasn't like
Huh?
yeah, and I just couldn't like
Well,
sit there and
take it.
like look at all that shit, so I just dumped it. But like I still have some stocks, so
Well,
I
where's
could
your phone?
compost. What?
Because I need it to pull up the PDFs.
Oh, okay, Stockholm.
Okay, bye. Sorry, I gotta go bring my wife's phone, the other phone. Be right back.
All right. Yeah, yeah. I'll just make make potash. Fucking burn it all up. Burn the bait stock shit. Yeah, I want to make some use out of them. Sitting there rotting. Might as well compost those stalks. Yeah, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Like I said, just it's better off than having them sit outside or sit wherever and just rot. So composting it back into the soil. What up, Bro Pyro? I gotta get to the sun.
Apologies, mates. All right. we are going to go over this little information thing about cover crops, but I want to smoke first, so plug this in. So I'm not able to use my computer because battery is not holding a charge anymore for some reason. So I just replaced the battery not even a year ago. Cheers. So, back. What we're reading from right now.
What?
I put it up on the screen right now.
What'd you say?
It's up on the screen. It's up on the screen what I'm reading from, where I'm reading from.
Okay, I'll look that up.
So, I'm reading from Building Soil for Better Crops. And this is out of chapter 10, cover crops. It says cover crops have been used to improve soil and the yield of subsequent crops since antiquity. Chinese manuscripts indicate that the use of green manures is probably more than 3,000 years old. Green manures were also commonly used in ancient Greece and Rome. Today there is a renewed interest in cover crops, and they are becoming important part of many farmers' cover or cropping systems. A cover crop is usually grown with multiple objectives. One important goal is to protect and improve the soil with living vegetation during the time of the year when it would otherwise be bare. Minimizing runoff. Oh, yeah, bare. Minimizing runoff and soil erosion. With green leaves intercepting precipitation and lessening its impact, and with living roots holding on to the soil, But cover crops can also have many other benefits. Using the sun's energy and CO2 from the atmosphere, they increase soil organic matter with their roots and surface residue. Protect protect nitrate from leaching. Um, Increase the amount of soil nitrogen, especially with legumes. Break up soil compaction, provide habitat for beneficial organisms, and promote mycorrhizal fungi presence for the following crop. If you're following along, you can see right there. There's a little chart thing, a
Yeah, yeah. I'm
little
trying to
cloud.
find it. Can you post it in the private chat?
Yeah, let me see. Let me go here.
Yeah, if you post it in the private chat, I'll just be able to go right to it.
Yeah, there it is.
All right.
Let me send the other one to um
It's the first one, the one you're reading right now.
the one that I just put up there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh, And then this is the other one that we're going to be using. That one's actually got a good chart. The other one is like a chart form. Um, it's super easy to read. Um, but let's see. Cover crops enhanced figure 10.1. So you guys can see it says cover crops enhance soil health in many ways. Cover crops are usually killed on the surface or incorporated into the soil before they mature. This is this is the origin of the term green manure. Since since annual cover crop residues are usually low in lignin content, the high in nitrogen they typically decompose rapidly in the soil. And it goes through to talks about the benefits of cover crops, which we all know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where you're at here.
If you click on there's a little sidebar like on the right side of your page, on the right side of the page.
Yeah.
If you click on that little sidebar, it'll open up, and then you just scroll down it and go to chapter 10.
Okay.
Purpose of cover crops.
I think I found it.
The term cover crop refers generally to plants that are grown but not harvested, while the term usually is used generally different different types of plants are grown as cover crops to achieve a number of primary purposes, like catching and recycling nutrients, fixing nitrogen, smothering weeds, biofumigating pests. Biofumigating pests. That's interesting. With glu- glucosinolates, glucosinolates, and isothiocyanate, typically grass pests, e.g., mustards and radish, especially useful when growing disease susceptible crops with limited control. So biofumigating pests, what the plants do is they create this uh, they put something back into the soil that pests don't like. Um, like they're kind of excreting something back in um let's see, there's what are those flowers that do it too? And actually they're really good because they keep pests away for quite a while. The root system does. Um, marigolds, they're really good. Their roots leave behind a bunch of stuff that pests don't like, and pests are less likely to be in those general areas of where those flowers were. Or the roots stretched out. I'm speaking from experience. One of the first couple of years I started growing, I used marigolds. I used a whole bunch of marigolds in my garden, and didn't have any pests for the longest time. I didn't have any mites
Wait, so I found the title "Soil Health: Integral and Sustainable Agriculture." Are you near that?
no.
Where are you at? I'm trying to find, like, scrolling down.
All right, did you find chapter 10?
Yeah, I went on 10. It just says introduction at the top, am I on the wrong one?
You might be on the wrong one.
Okay. Now let me look in the bar over here again.
There's if you go, I'm on the NAT. So if at the top of the page there's five different uh books or pages, whatever. It looks like you're on NAT.
Yeah, I see like the beginning here, the contents from where it's saying there's a cover crop in chapter 10. Just need to get there.
The book that we're reading from is Building Soil for Better Crops.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm seeing it right here in front of me. It's just not able to get to the chapter that you're reading.
Okay, look. Uh, I don't know if you can see this or not. I don't think you can.
No, not really.
There's a little like look where my finger is. There's a little sidebar over here. And if you click on that sidebar, it slides open, and then it says table of contents, it has the PDF, it says order. And then if you just
Okay.
scroll up on the table of contents, what the heck? Why is it changing? There we go. I'm gonna scroll down rather to chapter 10. Or if you go to the very top of the page up here, you'll see five little sections of different states. Um, and they're books on cover crops and stuff. And I'm on the first one. It says NAT.
Okay. That second link you sent, that's the cover crop chart, right? That's a different one.
Oh yeah. That's just an easy to read chart.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I just checked that out for a sec. All right, went back on the first one here. Restart. Oh yeah, so right in front of my screen is just building soils for better crops, and then there's like a few bars on the left, and I scroll down and I like go through the chapters
It's to say
or whatever.
chapter 10, cover crops.
Yeah, I don't know why it just says like introduction, and it's just like talking about it.
Um, what does it say? What are you reading?
Yeah, it just says number 10 is an introduction. It says, it is our work with living soil that provides sustainable alternatives to the triple crisis of climate, energy, and food. That's what it says. That's what starts out at the beginning. That's like what number 10 says chapter 10 is for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm on the wrong thing here or just too confused.
Are you on the SARE website?
Yeah, I believe so. I just press the link that you sent.
It's not giving you all the chapters like healthy soil, what is organic matter, and why is it so important?
No, it's not giving me. Do I have to like buy them or something?
No.
Like down.
No, you know what? Just go to the SAR website. Just pull up a different page and go to the SAR website because maybe that link is just screwed up.
Yeah. Here, if you want, I can share my screen. Show you.
Yeah, I can't share my screen.
No, I can
Not
share
on my
my
phone.
screen. All you gotta do is accept it. You see? You do that or no?
I don't know.
Yeah, you see it right there. Just accept it. Then you can see what I'm. Uh, uh,
That was hella fucking whack.
What happened?
don't
Yeah, I
know,
can't.
man.
I can't see shit outside, so
Streamer
fucking.
was just being fucking lame.
All right, yeah. So let me try to find it now that I'm able to see.
I gotta set you all back up again. Son of my phone. I don't know if that's why it was being stupid. My phone is super sensitive to the heat. Just pretty fucking lame for a $300 phone. Cricket ripped me off.
Yeah, I'm downloading something that Tandor sent me.
Okay. Smoke another one after that shit. I accidentally clicked the wrong thing and then StreamYard just would not do anything. Everything else on the internet worked. All my other pages worked, but StreamYard was not doing anything, so I had to reset my phone. Or restart it. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Lemon and cherries. Lemon and cherries. So delicious. What are you doing in my garden, Zep? What's up, dude? Hi, Zep. What you doing? Hey, puppy. Hey, shh, go. Nope. Go. Out. Good girl. All right, y'all. So let's get back to Zip. What I was reading. Before I was rudely interrupted by myself.
Oh yeah, I think I got it.
You got it? You find it? Purpose of cover crops, chapter 10.
Yeah, I'm scrolling down right now, but I got the right link.
I copied the link straight from their page. I don't know why.
I had to like download something. All right, 1 second. About to be there. All right, chapter 10, cover crops. Yeah, my laptop's like really laggy. I don't know why. The fuck? All right, I'm right at like the top of cover crops.
The heck? I'm trying to highlight everything. You got the top of cover crops? Nice.
Yeah, let me get there. All right, yeah, I'm there right now. It's like It just says chapter 10 cover crops. It's got a guy planting seeds right in the soil where no kind of manure is to be had. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
cool.
yeah. That's the cover of the book.
All right, cool, 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 cool. Now we're finally on the same page here, literally. All right, so yeah,
All
now
right,
I'm
I was down at purpose of cover crops.
all right. Let me scroll on. All right,
I was
you
going
want?
over biofumigating pests and talking
Uh,
about how the how certain plants will leave behind um, certain I want to call them oils, but they'll leave behind stuff that pests don't like in the soil, um, and this the the pests will leave the soil.
hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I can see everything that you're reading now. Biofumigating pests, loosening compacted soil, smothering weeds. I'm right with you there. So
cool.
yeah,
So next is loosening compacted soil, then growing biomass and organic matter. Typically fast growing crops like grasses, especially useful when soils are low in organic matter or when you aim to capture carbon. And that is a huge secret behind all of this cover crop and building your soil is the carbon. Trying to capture the carbon from the atmosphere uh, and bring it back into the soil, into the earth. And that's another thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to or really understand about cover crops. I didn't understand it either, but nobody really talks about it like in general videos or anything like that. You have to really dive deep into cover crops to really get that understanding, get that information from the people that use this as like what they do every
right,
twice a year, with cover crops. And some people don't even have to throw down cover crop anymore because they've already got they've already got the cover crops naturally established in where they started them, from natural
right.
seeding, which is one thing I'm trying to get down in my garden so I don't have to keep buying cover crop seeds. Uh, and this year, I'm actually about to put in an order of a huge mix of cover crop seeds. So um, I'll have a pretty big variety of cover crop in my.
So you always do a variety of cover crop, or you normally just stick to one seed,
I've
one
been
one,
using the
one
main
type of cover,
three.
one type of cover crop.
The vetch and the clovers. And then I'll use like ryegrass. I'll use alfalfa.
Right.
Um,
Nice.
so yeah, I
Yeah.
mean I'm using like six or seven at a time, five or six at a time. But
Nice.
this coming season, I'm gonna have a whole mess of cover crops, large biomass. Uh, Sell a soil builder mix is peas and oats and rye. Yeah, but why would you want to buy that though? If you can just build the soil yourself. Grass doesn't take that long to grow. It really doesn't. It's super super quick. Um, and clover's not that slow. And you get nitrogen fixation through clover. So I mean you're not you're it's a win-win. You're building your own soil and you're fixing nutrients, readily available nutrients at that, for the next crop, saying that you're using legumes that are fixing nitrogen from the atmosphere. Let's see. Let's go into providing cover for the soil surface, which is what I mean by when I say it protects the soil. It adds an armor. So that layer, this stuff, this mulch, all this mulch that I lay on top of my soil is armor. This is armor. Without it, my soil would be dead. Nothing would be living in it. Nothing would want to live in it. It'd be dry. It'd be disgusting. It'd be
Right.
disgraceful. Um, dirt is dead. Soil is living. Is alive. Very alive. Should be very alive. Should have all kinds of microbiology and arthropods and worms and everything living together and working together in harmony. even even the goods, the goods with the bads. Because without the bads, the goods have nothing to eat.
Right.
So they add organic matter, beneficial organisms. Cover crops help maintain high populations of mycorrhizal fungi during the period between main crops and thereby provide a biological bridge between cropping seasons. The fungus also associates with almost all cover crops except brassicas, which helps maintain or improve inoculation of the next crop. As discussed in Chapter 4, mycorrhizal fungi help promote the health of many crop plants in a variety of ways and also improve soil aggregation. The pollen and nectar can be important food source for predatory mites and parasitic wasps, both of which are important for biological control of insect pests. A cover crop also provides good habitat for spiders, and these insect feeders help decrease pest population. See, this is where I was just talking about mixing the good with the bad. Um, uh, Use of cover crops in the southeast has reduced the incidence 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 of thrips. Oh yeah, that reduce the incidence of thrips, bollworms, budworms, aphids, fall armyworm, beet armyworm, and whiteflies. Earthworm population may increase markedly with cover crops, especially if combined with no-till. Aggressive tillage harms earthworm populations and destroys their burrowing tunnels as well as those from old roots that reach the surface, reducing in, infiltration during intense rainfall. So hopefully that little end wasn't too much for everybody. And by that I mean my horrible reading.
No, you're
Um,
good.
Farmers say cover crops help the bottom line. Now y'all can go over that information. What they go over is the money and the amount of nitrogen and the stuff and all the materials used, and they break down percentages and weights and stuff like that. So that's good to look through if you like to look at numbers. Um, Selecting cover crops. This is where it starts to get tricky because this is I feel not a common thing understood with cover crops, and it wasn't for me. I just, cover crops in general is just a common thing to know if you're working with no-till, or if you're building your soil. But using the right cover crops and choosing the right cover crops um, is a must know, and it's not really promoted that way in all the videos. So hopefully I can cover it pretty well um, through all of this stuff, and you can go to these websites yourself and find this information and read it. It is very, very, very informational on cover crops. It has given me a much wider understanding um, and wiser understanding of using cover crops and the purpose of them and what different ones do and are used for. What are your goals in planting cover crops? What cover crops should I plant? When and how should I plant the cover crops? When should the cover crops be killed or incorporated into the soil? What is my next cash crop? And when this is important, what is my next cash crop and when should it be planted? Now, that all depends on the cover crop that you're using. And you can go through all this information, it'll explain it all. There's a ton of it. I'd love to go through all of it, but what I really wanted to get into today is types of cover crops. And with that, we have legumes. We have legumes. We have winter annual legumes, summer annual legumes, biennial and perennial legumes, grasses, and other crops, which are going to be like buckwheat, mustard, um, oilseed, rapeseed.
Yeah, me personally, I normally it says right here which species are best for your climate. Some are better for the winter, more hardy. Um, those are more the seeds that I'm gonna be getting because where I live is like really cold, so I'm gonna be getting like those more hardy cover crop seeds. I can survive in the winter.
Do you have the? Did you get the? Did you get the link? Were you able to pull up that chart?
Yeah, yeah, I can look at that too.
Let me see. I wanted to go over there to the chart and kind of cover some of this stuff, but I want to make sure that I'm able to.
Yeah, I'm on the chart right now. Cover crop chart, growth cycle, relative water use, plant uh, architecture. That's it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I see like grass, broadleaf grass, legumes, um, then cover crop chart. And it starts a paragraph. Barley. That's cool. Yeah, this like goes in depth. In depth.
Oh, that's
Mung bean. It says so. Could you use
mung
could you use,
bean.
could you use mung bean as a cover crop as well?
Yeah. Yep. Sure
Okay,
can.
nice,
It's great nitrogen fixer.
nice.
Okay, yeah, this is the one I wanted to cover. Yeah. All right. All right. We are gonna switch over to this one. Banners. We're going to switch over to this one. We're going to go over types of cover crops through this one. I like this one. This one gives a really quick general description of the different types of cover crops and what they do. Now
Was
I was
different?
writing down all this information, and then like 2 days ago I found this stuff. So I was like, what? All right, I guess we're just gonna use this then. So, um, and this is like all the general information I was looking for to get out there to help people understand. cover crops and how, why, and when, where we use them.
What is this, a different book?
It's the actual the cover crop chart PDF.
Oh, oh,
You
okay.
have
Oh,
that
yeah.
one?
Yeah, that was just the chart. Oh, yeah.
You have just the chart. Does it say cover crop chart below it, and then it goes down to barley, oat,
Yep.
ryegrass, wheat?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just thought you posted something different on the link there.
No, no, no.
All right. Yeah, we're on the same page then.
Okay, cool. Let's burn another one.
All right, yeah, let's smoke.
You making some hash or what?
No, I haven't made hash in like a week or so. I'm just gonna wait till it gets a little bit cooler outside. If I do it, I have to do it like,
Is it warming up? Is it warm over there right now?
oh yeah, yesterday it was like 90. Uh, today it's like, today it's like 80. But like, if I make hash, I got to do it late in the day when it gets cooler.
You ever you ever get like 100-degree weather where you're at?
No, like that's what I was saying. 90 degrees, like maybe it even got early 90s, mid 90s. That's like record breaking weather around here. Like, and
Damn.
if we have got 100 before, then yeah, that's like
How
record breaking.
low? What's the lowest you guys get?
Like 20 degrees in the winter. That's the thing. It doesn't really snow that much too, so it's just brick. But yeah, here I'll smoke one quick. I'm just like
So
chilling.
it's just cold. It's not really.
What?
There's not any snow. It's just cold.
That's cool. I mean, we get some snow, but yeah, no. Other than pretty much, I'm more so focusing on my indoor grower, setting that up. Other than making hash, definitely gonna be making hash soon though.
Are you going no-till with the indoor?
What?
Are you doing no-till with the indoor?
Well, since I'm doing a sea of green, I'm doing really small pots. Um, don't really want to do no-till, but if I was doing like a bunch of plants, like in bigger pots, I definitely would do no-till. But yeah, I'm still gonna I'm still gonna stay organic. Use natural dry amendments and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll be doing no-till just because I'm like doing like 2 or 3 gallon pots.
You can still add some cover crop on the inside right there. It's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, I could do stuff like that. I don't know. Probably it's gonna be quicker cycles though, so it's like I don't know. I'll probably just stick to the fucking no-till outside, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, if you do if you do like what is it, red? Is it red clover or crimson clover? I think it's red clover. It fixes nitrogen in 90 days.
Oh, okay.
So if you're only doing like 3-month runs, you're basically building the nitrogen into the soil that's not really going to get used up.
Right.
It's going to get used up not on the first, at least not on the first run, and then on the second run, the second run indoor will come out even fucking better because now you've got the natural nitrogen fixed in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely still could incorporate the cover crop for sure. I should totally do that. Yeah, adding worms though, I wouldn't want to do that in a little small pot.
You can, you just don't let your pots dry out.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, you need to dry it too. That's just so the roots can expand. I mean,
Yeah. You got a drip tray?
yeah, I gotta buy a separate drip tray for each pot.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, it is what it is. Found some on Amazon. Come in like 5 packs.
How many are you gonna be able to fit in that little space?
12. I'm gonna scrog them out, and it's gonna get really big. It's gonna be a sea of green like a scrog, you know.
I think that's dope though. You got space for indoor.
Yeah.
I could get some indoor going, but I don't. I'm not an indoor grower.
Yeah, I want
Not
to do something over the course of the winter with growing, you know. I don't want to just sit here and, I'm going to do my breeding
that's
project with the silver and then do an indoor run.
that's why you lay down your cover crop. Grow some winter crops, dude. Some hardy, cold hardy winter crops like lettuces and stuff like that. Some leafy greens. Um, get away with some stuff like kales and um, broccoli, cabbage. Uh, Actually, no. Depending on where depending on where you're at, you'd have to depending on where you're at, you would have to cover everything. You would need row covers because it gets too cold.
All right.
You done packing that yet?
No, I'm still breaking it up.
All right. Well, he's breaking that up. I guess I'll just start talking about barley. Barley is a grass used in cover crops, a cool season grass, annual, upright plant architecture, low water use. Low water use. That's a plus. Good salinity tolerance. Seed depth is 3/4 to 2 inches. Crude protein, hay is 10 to 15%, grain 11 to 15%. Benefits from arbuscular mycorrhizal associations. So it is it has a symbiotic relationship with mycorrhiza. It's a self-pollinator by wind. Um, Now this is all per this ars.usda.gov cover crops chart, and it gives us a general aspect or a general look and understanding of these cover crops. Um, so, barley. Just went over barley, rated very good at scavenging nitrogen from the soil, meaning it will go and look for soil. It'll go and look for nitrogen that has not been used up, that is still hanging out in the soil, and then uptake it, and then we turn that into green manure, or mulch, which then in turn feeds the worms and the microbes, and your then turns back into soil. And then the next cash crop or whatever you're growing gets to uptake that nitrogen,
Right.
um, all over again. It's just the cycle repeats itself, repeats
Yeah.
itself. Let's oats. Oats is a common used grass cover crop, cool season grass,
Cheers.
annual upright plant. Yeah, cheers, bro. All right. Got somebody coming through on a quad. Excuse noise. Pardon the noise.
I don't hear shit.
Oats, oats, oats. Upright plant architecture. Medium, medium water use. Fair salinity tolerance. Seeding depth is 1 to 2 inches. Crude protein hay, as dried hay, it is 9 to 15%. Grain is 13 to 18%. Wow, that's a big chunk. Means it loses all of that when it dries out. That's
Says it
yeah.
forms obscure
Will form will form
microzoa.
a viscera mycorrhizal association. Uh, Self-pollinator related, rated good, very good at scavenging nitrogen. So pretty much the same.
Right.
Ryegrass, Lolium sp.
That's a scientific name, I guess.
Yes. Species grass, annual or perennial, upright plant architecture, major types, annual, Oregon, Italian, Australian, common. And then perennial is English, medium water use, fair salinity tolerance, seedling depth, 1/4 to 1/2 inch, carbon to nitrogen ratio. This is also important. This is also important to understand um, for your green manure purposes and composting in place. In like, say, for instance, my spots where my cannabis grows, um, this gets my cover crop just gets mulched in and then covered with compost, and then another layer is, or sorry, mulched in, then uh, powdered with amendments, and then covered with compost, and then another spring, and then the spring rotation of cover crops. Um, and then that process gets repeated over again when I cut down the cover crop for the next layer to build the next layers for my plants to eat up. Um, so I in I should be getting 2 cover crop rotations um, per out of my spots and out of my beds. Um, so you should be getting a winter, and you should be doing a winter and a spring cover crop, or a fall winter, spring summer cover crop.
Right.
So, and that's where the understanding of these different cover crops and when, how, where, why we use them comes in.
Yeah, I never thought I never like, as obvious as it is, I never thought you could use cover crops in the season when your plants are just growing. And like, I was like, oh wow, it's like, I don't know why, like, I'm not doing that. Like, I always just did it, in the off season and, you know, whatnot. But yeah,
But
I
I
like,
mean, you want to protect the soil at all times as the best that you can. If
right.
the soil's exposed, it's naked and it's being violated by the sun.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just being
Yeah.
killed.
So like you said, it's good to have the cycles like spring, summer, fall, and like, do it every fucking season. So you're always having more cover crop,
Yeah.
getting into the soil.
Yep. And then some cover crops grow faster than others. So like the grasses are going to grow faster than the clovers, and so you want the grasses to help protect the soil while the legumes or the clovers are coming in. and also suppress weeds from landing in that spot and then taking over the area where you just planted cover crop seed. So those grasses coming are really good for that. And I've noticed that from experience that in these spots where I laid down the cover crop thick and I had the grass growing real thick, the grass came up first, and then the vetch and the clover came up as soon as like it matured, but like it wouldn't have matured had I not thrown down that thick layer of grass along, mixing those layers of grass, the barley and the alfalfa, into my cover crop mix, um, because I've done it only using the three, the clovers and the vetch, and very low germination rate, very hard to keep it growing, hard to get it to actually get going without using like half the bag in one spot.
Right.
Um, but I noticed that when I mixed in the grasses came up first, came up quicker, and then um, built helped start allowing the started covering the soil and protecting it from any weed suppression and anything else. And it also, like it says, the grasses build that mycorrhizal fungi association, and they bring that they bring in what's nutrients is needed for certain things, and then everything thrives off of that too. And um, and I've noticed that the cover crops have my cover the clovers and the vetch have worked a lot better in unison with the grasses.
Right.
Um, so next one, yeah, we were on ryegrass. Okay, next one is wheat. Triticum aestivium. Aestivium L. It's another cool season grass. I think all of these grasses are cool season. Yep, cool
Cool
season,
season.
cool season, cool
Yeah.
season.
And they all say cool season.
Yep.
Yeah, I really
Um,
every year I've been doing just like clovers. I really want to start getting into some of these, like these wheats and
yeah, yeah.
these
There's a use
these
for all of
tall
them.
these tall.
I thought that oh, you just use these types. These types are the best. And no, it's they using. Yeah, I've come to the understanding with going through all this information that it's best to have a variety
Variety.
of
Yeah.
crops growing, because they each have a purpose and they have some type of symbiotic relationship with each other on how they work together, in some way or another. You know,
Right.
um, so
Yeah.
yeah. Well, like I said before, it's the
No.
best
Yeah.
soil is a diverse soil.
You see like Mendo Dope's fucking cover crop system, and there it's just super diverse. It's just like they've got the wheat, they've got these purple cover crops, and like they've got so much going on around their plants, with the cover
Yeah,
crop. It's just
I
like
think the majority of their cover
like
crops though is clover and vetch.
right.
Like they've got their vetch is on another level, dude. Like they've got their vetch producing its own seed, like and like they don't have to seed it anymore,
Wow,
which is awesome.
that's
Uh,
cool.
yeah, like this, like I think the past couple seasons or this season they didn't have to seed it because it all just naturally came up. It seeded itself. But I
Wow.
also think they said that they hit the whole area, the Green Shock Farms spot. The first year they said that they threw down $100 worth of cover crops. I spent $100 on cover crops, dude. Where am I? Where am I missing? Where am I missing this? And that's where I missed it. Is the planting? It's all about your timing and what you're using too. And your soil life already. So I mean, I pretty much started from fucking dirt, dude. like literally dirt. Only in a few spots did I have soil that I used from the past 2 3 years that I've been building my soil.
Right.
Practicing, uh, really going ham on it for 3 years, but I've been studying it for four. So,
Okay.
um, let's see, cereal rise. These are something I really want to add too, and then the triticale for some like I just feel like I like these are needed for some reason in my area. Um, both are annual. Both are upright. So just stick with the cereal right. Upright plant architecture. High water use. Um, good salinity tolerance. Seeding depth is a quarter to 2 inches. Crude protein straw 4%, grain 14%. Oh, it's high. Carbon to nitrogen ratios 40 to 48. Will form arbuscular mycorrhiza association and great at and very good at scavenging for nitrogen. Um, so basically the same as the first four,
Yeah.
five, yeah, five.
Yeah, they're all self pollinators, right?
Yeah, they're all self pollinators. Um, cool season grasses. They're all annual, upright architecture. This one, triticales, fall and spring types available. So this one you can plant and both, for your winter fall crop and for your spring summer crop. Uh, has a high water use, good salinity. Um, Seedling depth is 1.5 to 2 inches. Crude protein is nine to 16% hay. Grain is 17%. Wow, it's really high. And it shares a relationship with or association with mycorrhiza. Annual fescue. Annual fescue is another type of grass. Annual upright. Common names: Ratali fescue, foxtailed fescue. Seedling depth 1/4 inch to 1 inch. Crude protein hay is 8 to 10%. Benefits from arbuscular mycorrhiza association. As you can see, that is a more like looks like a
It's like a grass.
yeah, it's like what do I call it, like a tubular type of grass.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks. Yeah. I guess they're all grass, right?
Yeah, they're all grass. Okay, next we're getting into broadleaf cover crops, Phacelia. Phacelia.
Yeah, no,
Fervid.
that's it. I would almost say that one almost looks like more like, yeah, I don't know, almost like real grass, but I don't know. Hard to explain.
Phacelia. Cool season broadleaf, annual upright plant, low water use, low salinity tolerance, seedling depth eighth to 1/4 inch, carbon to nitrogen ratio 10 to 15. Grown as a nitrogen catch crop.
Ooh, attracts beneficial insects.
Yeah, I was gonna say earlier too when I brought it up, but attracts beneficials.
That's cool.
Um, will form arbuscular mycorrhizal association. So we'll build that relationship with mycorrhiza and help um, pump out needed nutrients to areas where it's needed. and to plants that need it. We're like, hey, bro, hey, I see you got some of that over there. Can you send it over here? And then it's like, yeah, bro, I got you, dude. Here you go. Or when your homie's like, hey, bring me, bro.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen Mendo Dope use some of that before. Those purple flowers.
Visalia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there's if you want to check it out on YouTube, it's called it's from treating the farm like a ecosystem, and it is a video on growing cover crops for pollinators and beneficials. And he talks about Phacelia, yeah. Flax, cool season, broadleaf, annual upright, medium water use, fair salinity, tolerance, seedling depth, half to 1.5. Benefits from our best, so mycorrhizal association. Flowers attract pollinators. What do pollinators help us with in our garden? Pollination, that's right. Pollination. And they help us get our food so that we don't have to go around pollinating everything and making our own food for us because we already got enough work to do. And that's what they love to do. So why not create a good habitat for them to come and eat and help you eat? Sounds like a plan. Spinach. I love spinach. I love using spinach too as a cover crop. It's pretty good. It's pretty abundant out here wildly too. Another broadleaf annual upright and spreading plant architecture. So if you let it seed, it'll spread. It spreads and it spreads. Like I said, it's pretty abundant out here. When it rains, like if we get a good rain, you'll see a bunch of wild spinach around where I live, and it's awesome because I can just go walk around foraging wild
Nice.
greens. It's
That's
awesome.
cool. Yeah, that's dope.
Um, Poor salinity tolerance, which makes it a little tough to grow. Um, I've had issues with spinach before, but I think it's just maybe my soil conditions. The spinach wasn't ready for it, but
Right.
but after a while, it started to pick up, but it wasn't like I wanted it to. Like I
Yeah.
wanted it to just continually produce, but it only did that for a little while. Um, Seedling depth 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Crude protein 20%. Carbon and nitrogen ratio 6 to 8. Sensitive to acid soils, and I think that's where I had my problem is the acidity in my soils might have been too high.
Oh, okay.
Belong
Yeah,
to
because with cannabis, obviously, you want it higher. Okay.
well, I'm talking about where like my tomatoes are.
Right.
Um, like I
Yeah,
tried
even
to grow
tomatoes too.
spinach.
Yeah.
I tried growing spinach over there, and it didn't work too well.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Belongs to the family Chenopodiaceae. Okay. Who we got here? Hello, guest. Hello. How's it going? We got and it also builds that mycorrhiza association. Next, we got kale. Kale is great to be used as a cover crop. Can also be eaten too. It's good for you. Cool season broadleaf, annual upright, major types Siberian Russian. Kales belong there. You also have dinosaur and uh, the other one. Um, Kales belong to the same genus and species of canola. Medium water use, fair salinity, um, seedling depth a quarter to a half inch, crude protein 13%, carbon nitrogen ratio 10 to 30 per 10 to 30. Um, does not form orbicular mycorrhiza association. So it'll basically just be sitting there sucking up nutrients
Huh.
in water. But it'll be covering the soil real well if you have a whole bunch of it growing. Like when I had over here this last winter, I had a whole bed of kale right here, and it all popped up and covered the whole bed, and it like just grew, and anything in between it grew too because the soil was it kept it moist and full of life, and
Right.
it gave us lots of food for our chickens. We had a lot of leafy greens for our chickens this last winter. Canola. You can use canola. It is a brassica. We are getting into brassicas. Kale is a brassica. Keep in mind, mostly brassicas don't build that association, that mycorrhiza association. Um, so they're not going to be passing on nutrients and stuff like that to other plants. That's why I said they're basically just going to be sitting there sucking up nutrients in water, being fucking hogs and greedy pigs.
Oh, okay.
But with that said, they are edible. They're great for us, and we need that nutrients too. Um, and they can. It's great to cover the soil, and then you get a lot of. If you end up chopping it all down, you get a lot of biomass. The tap roots of them are deep, dude, and they go for days, dude. So you're also getting that extensive root system that they give out, and that any plant like grasses, anything that has an extensive root system like grass, or some brassicas like kale, uh, they'll extend out into the roots, and that adds aeration, and also allows water penetration.
Right.
So and then with their long tap roots, with things with long tap roots or large roots like um, daikon radish or radishes period, those allow aeration and or add aeration and allow water to permeate deeper into the soil, which is where a lot of roots want to go because that's where it's a lot cooler. That's where most of the water moisture is, and
Right.
uh, things like cannabis go deep. They want that long, deep taproot so they can stabilize themselves. So if you've got soil compaction and stuff like that, you're gonna want to plant these grasses and brassicas and stuff like that, and and root. I guess I call them root cover crops, like the radishes, or even turnips too. Anything that's got a huge, fat, large taproot, and then you also get a lot of biomass from that stuff too. So that's just green manure that's being added, and then life, and then like things with like these radishes and stuff too. Um, you don't have to pull them all out. You can just mulch them back into the soil, and then that's going to add food. That's going to add food for the worms too at the same time.
Right.
So it's all win-win to me the way I see it. Even with the cons, because I see that the pros outweigh the cons of any cover crop. So
Right.
let's go on next with how's it going, Jim? Let's go on. Nice. You have a fun. Do you have a good time?
Yeah, been a big turnout. A lot of good people I haven't seen in a long time.
You guys were up pretty late last night.
Night singing, night singing.
Yep. Just sitting here doing my podcast.
That's what I gotta do. Enough talking.
Take it easy. So, all right, next is mustard, which I love out here because it is so abundant. Yellow mustard, man. Yellow mustard. It's edible and it is a great cover crop. It is a great cover crop. Um, and it's free too out here. Like it's crazy. It's everywhere, especially when it rains. It just comes up and like just takes over. But it's a great cover crop. Great cover crop. It's a cool season broadleaf, annual or perennial, upright and spreading plant. Yes, when it seeds, dude. Like a lot. Like this thing is these yellow mustard is not it is not shy on seeding at all. And the bees love it, and that's another reason why I keep it around too, is because it attracts the pollinators. When I came out here, and I learned about the yellow mustard, um, I saw all I saw all the bees always come, always they were always around. They're always around, and when there's no other flowers around, that's what they go after is the mustard.
Oh,
And
okay.
they're just pollinating the shit out of it, and they when they seed a lot. So and it's good to see other growers like Mendo starting to incorporate the mustard stuff and different cover crops into their soil. Um, so that's another brassica. Let's see. Mustard is related to cranberry which has a low water use requirement, does not form a vascular mycorrhizal association, rated good at scavenging nitrogen from the soil. That is for sure. That is for sure. They will pull up whatever nitrogen is there and they will use it up. They love nitrogen.
Nice.
Puts a smile on my face. People driving by just like
Just looking at your plants.
yeah. Every time, dude, it gets everybody. I love it. All right, next we are going into this last brassica, which is it's a brassica, but considered it's a root vegetable. So it's cool season broadleaf biennial. It's turnips, biennial upright and spreading plant. Um, root, yeah, see root crop right here. High water use. Yeah, any root crop has a high water use, which is kind of the downfall for me out here, but that's why I need to use and practice these no-till methods with cover crops and heavy mulching techniques. That way I can utilize as much water as possible and be able to retain that moisture in the soil for longer periods of time. That way, I can have an abundance of root vegetables like radishes and carrots and beets and turnips and stuff like that. Like my first season here, our um, our root vegetable crop was through the roof because we had so much rain that it filled up the pond that we the natural pond that we have down here that flows down in that eventually flows down the valley and into the reservoir. Um, Miles and miles down the road though, or down the valley. Uh, but yeah, it rained a lot that year. It rained so much that it filled up the pond, and we couldn't fill up, we couldn't use the water in our rain barrels fast enough to capture the water, because I mean, we don't. Last thing you want to do is let water sit in those barrels, and we couldn't use up the water fast enough. Even when it was dry, we couldn't use the water up fast enough. Then we're coming over here to radishes, another root crop, cool season broadleaf. Wait, did I finish the? No, does not. I did not finish this. It's another brassica, so it doesn't build that mycorrhizal association. Good at scavenging nitrogen. Flowers attract pollinators, which is what we want in our garden. We need those pollinators.
Right.
But with
Nice.
all of these things too, with things like the radishes and turnips and some other brassicas, they will also attract the pest, um, namely namely certain plants are scavenging for that nitrogen and they're sucking up all that nitrogen, which aphids are attracted to. So especially when it cools down a bit, oh man, and then when it starts to warm up a bit, oh, the aphids are great. Um, and everything's green, and then when it starts to warm up, they multiply like crazy. Uh, so we're going down here to radishes. Uh, cool annual broadleaf. It's a cool season broadleaf annual upright uh, and spreading. It's a root crop. Major types: oil seed, forage, radishes, and then high water use. All these, like I said, all these root vegetables are gonna have high water use. Poor salinity tolerance. Seeding depth is a quarter to a half inch. Root protein, excuse me, is 26 to 30%. Carbon to nitrogen ratio. Oil seed is 19 to 20. Um, does not does not form orbicular mycorrhizal association, um, like the brassicas. Um, hence why I said mostly brassicas, but these root vegetables uh, are not going to do that. Um, and flowers attract pollinators. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Beets, they're cool season broadleaf. This one's a biennial, upright and spreading, root crop, high water use. Again, variable salinity tolerance depending on beet type. So depending on your type, uh, seedling depth is a half inch to three quarters. Top, the tops of the tops of the plant, meaning the leaves, uh, which beets, the whole thing is edible. Well, actually, all of these, the whole thing is edible. All of these root vegetables, you can eat the leaves, even the brassicas, the kale, obviously, the mustard. You get mustard greens from that. The turnips, radish, beets, um, and then doesn't form that association with mycorrhiza. Good for scavenging nitrogen, leftover nitrogen, and self-pollinated through the wind. And then we got carrots. Carrots, another cool season, considered a broadleaf, even though their leaves are thin. They expand pretty far out though. If you got some good healthy carrots. Major types are biennial and annual. Now, all of these root vegetables, remember, like I said before, all of these root vegetables are going to have that major taproot that is going to help aerate and help water penetrate further into the soil, especially with these carrots. We love carrots, and some get super long, and that's gonna allow deep aeration and
Yeah,
deep water passage.
it's cool how the taproot just turns into, well, one big giant carrot.
Yeah,
starts up
right.
starts out as a taproot. It's
Yep.
interesting.
And I think it's interesting that it's the tap like that it's the root that we're going after. Like these these major roots of plants that we're going after. Like
Yeah,
who discovered these? You know, who discovered the carrot?
yeah,
Um, then flowers may attract honeybees. That's if you can get them to flower. It takes them a while to flower, and then it takes them a while to seed. Um, let's see. Next is field peas. Now we're getting into the legumes. The legumes, which are my favorite ones because they are nitrogen fixers and they fix the most needed vegetation um, nutrients that's needed for plants to grow healthy and strong. And if we can put this back into the soil, we can cut out the middleman, the 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 amendments and stuff like that. As at least
right,
for the most part. There are certain things that bring out certain stuff in plants, like terpene profiles and stuff like that. So, or have been found to bring out certain, or been found to bring out terpene profiles and flavors and smells in certain plants, namely cannabis. So like guanos and stuff like that have been said to bring out terpene profiles. Um, and also stuff like crab meal and insect frass, those exoskeletons. Science says that those exoskeletons trigger the plant. They trick the plant into thinking it's being attacked. This is per word of farmers and people who use it. I think it really helps too, but it tricks the plant into thinking it's being attacked, so it boosts its terpene profile, um, to fight off the pest because the pests don't like certain terpenes, and certain things will help boost those. Um, and like I just said, the exoskeletons of certain stuff like the insect frass from bugs, and then the crab meal, the exoskeletons from crabs, it supposedly tricks the plant and makes your weed taste better. Can also make your food taste better too, because those things are also high in potassium and phosphorus, um, so which are great for fruiting crops. Let's see. So we're in carrots. It's another upright and spreading root crop, high water use. Seedling depth is a half inch, an eighth to a quarter inch. Crude protein, so they like a really shallow planting depth.
right.
Um, so many to cover. And I think my wife needs the phone. So where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Field peas. Field peas. Piss them. Piss them. Um, Pissum satuvium arvense. Arvense. Crude protein hay is that was carrots. Sorry. Field peas. Full season broadleaf annual legume nitrogen fixation upright plant architecture vine. So it's like a vining plant. Low water use, poor salinity tolerance, seedling depth 1 to 3 inches. Crude protein, hay 14%, grain 24%, silage 15%, carbon to nitrogen ratio, leaf 13 to 25, stem 27 to 83, root 17 to 27. Forms that are biscular mycorrhizal association. So it forms that relationship with mycorrhiza that helps get out nutrients
Huh.
and other things, other minerals and stuff to other plants. I think I got a gopher over here chewing on something.
It says flowers attract bees.
Yes, yes, flowers attract bees. Sorry, I'm hearing something chewing. All right, lentils, another bean, another nitrogen fixing bean, broadleaf annual, upright spreading, low water use, poor salinity tolerance, seedling depth 1 to 1.5, crude protein, hay 14%, grain 28, silage 15. Carbon to nitrogen ratio, leaf 11 to 21, stem 25 to 49, root 22 to 30. Forms that relationship with mycorrhiza. Um, Self-pollinated, but flowers may attract pollinators, which is good for us. Lupin. Lupin, another cool season broadleaf, annual legume, upright. Examples include blue, narrow leaf, European yellow, white, Spanish, etc., etc. Low water use, prefers
Oh
acid
yeah,
acidic soils.
definitely feel like I've seen Mendo Dope using that one before.
Yes, yes, yes. I believe so too. I believe so too. I think I've seen a lot of people actually use it. Um, or at least have it like in random areas. Um, but I
Well,
think
it's
they
really so
most
anything
people
that's a
definitely.
anything that's a legume, like you said, fixes nitrogen. Um, so that's definitely something anything that's a legume cover crop, you incorporate those into your soil.
Yes, yes, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, any legume, throw any type of legume. I discovered
Okay.
that too. Like when I discovered that a long time ago when I discovered that beans in general are legumes, and they all fix nitrogen. Some more than others, like I've said before. But any legume, that's why I started incorporating different things into my soils. But I've tried to get an abundance of beans and stuff like that, but I never end up with enough to be able to just toss back into my soil and use as cover crop. Because any seeds I do save from usually end up getting used and planted for foraging
Right.
crop the next season.
It says also down there that it prefers um, acid soils,
Yeah, acidic soils.
acidic
Yeah,
soils.
that's
So like,
probably why it's kept separate from other cover crops.
so if you were to grow it around your plants, like your cannabis plants or like plants that prefer high pH, um, you think that would they do good or?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't pay attention to pH levels because I practice no-till, and you don't have to watch pH levels unless you're using shit water.
Right.
Like
But like when it says acidic soil, it's just like meaning like acidic pH, like low pH soils, or what is it meaning by that?
that's a good question. Let's see what Google says for a general acidic soil. Acidic soils are commonly referred to as being sour. By definition, acidity is the characteristic of soil having a pH level of less than 7, a reading of 7 being neutral. The pH scale runs from 0 to 14, so 7 falls in the middle of the scale. Reading over 7 indicates alkalinity.
Right.
So, medium. So I guess a medium pH then, slightly more than medium pH. No, because that's neutral. 7 is in the middle. So that could be for a different episode. Let's get back to wow, what happened to my smart? Nope, that's not it. Hello. There we go. All right. Get back into we're at lentils, lupin, vetch. Went on to vetch. We're going on to vetch now. Cool season broadleaf, annual and biennial legume, uh, prostrate plant architecture, vining. It's a vining plant. We all know that. Examples include common, hairy, purple, smooth, etc. Low to medium water use. Yeah, it's pretty fair on the water use, I would say. A little hard to get germinating, but can be tough germinating. Fruit seed. See, poor salinity tolerance, seedling depth 1 to 1 and a half to 2.5 inches. Fruit protein 13 to 20%. Carbon nitrogen ratio 10 to 19. Uh, Forms that relationship with mycorrhiza and attracts pollinators. Now, next we're going to get into the different types of clover, but
First
we
thing.
are at 222, and we'll probably carry this on into a third episode um, on cover crops and why we would use them. But
Second.
while y'all have your free time, go over these two PDFs. That one website, the SARE website, they have multiple books in PDF form that are very, very informational about soil building and using cover crops and all that good stuff. So go to the SARE website and check all of that out. Also, check out the ars dot ars ars.usda.gov PDF on cover crop. It's a cover crop chart. This is a really good chart, an easy way to understand these cover crops and how, when, why, where, and what we use them for. So check both of those out, and we are going to stop it right there at the clovers. So next up is the Berseem clover, and we will go over that on the next episode. So yeah, check out those websites, the SARE websites and the ars.usda.org PDF on the cover crop chart. Great stuff, dude. Great stuff.
Oh yeah, that was a good episode.
Wish I would have found it sooner.
Yeah, no, I like that chart. It's cool. It
But I
goes.
think I think
It really lets me know like all the different cover crops I need to, get into and shit.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say is that these websites, these particular websites, have given me a greater and more wiser understanding um, of cover crops and cover crop use, um, and how and when to incorporate them is the tricky thing, I think. How's it going?
Nice shady spot you got there.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Fantastic.
um, but yeah, and how and when to incorporate these cover crops, I think, is the missed part. And what cover crops too is highly underestimated and missed in any cover crop video, or at least that I've seen. They've never, unless I've literally typed in crimson clover or a specific cover crop, or like something uh like how to use cover crops, or something like that, or looking for something, or actually watching like these seminars, and these farmers that, these 3-hour seminars on YouTube. um there's not You don't get that information. It's hard to cram this type of information into just 10-minute video. So
Right.
I understand why there's just the general aspect, and just general videos and talk on cover crop, but it's not giving and it didn't for me. It didn't it They're not informational to the point of giving an understanding of how, where, when, why, and what we use the cover crops for.
Yeah.
you know so yeah, definitely check out these two websites, these PDF forms, for all your cover crop information, or you can come check out this video. Like to smoke, toke, joke, and get learned. I need the phone. Call this bitch. Hey, what? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm closing it up. Why? Why are you clogged? There we go. Yeah, I took a nice big dab this morning. It was nice.
Hell yeah.
Still feeling it. Oh wait, look, I got some weed in front of me. So I'll finish this little bit of weed up with you.
Yeah, I'll smoke one more with you. This retarded fucking neighbor just came over in the front door, knocked and was asking, "Oh, hey, you got any ice I could borrow? Ice I could use?" I was like, no, got
You're
dollars.
like,
It's just
yeah, I got some ice. Got some ice, punk. Get off my
fucking retarded
doorstep.
people. Dude.
Yeah, some ice. What a fucking weird question. Who asked to? Did he ask to borrow the ice machine?
No, yeah, the guy literally just came over and said, "Oh, hey, like, there's fucking we have like a ice machine or a cooler on the side." So he's like, "Oh, hey, yeah, could I get some ice? But there's not even any ice in there right now." Like, what the fuck? Told him no, sorry. What the?
What the hell? Do they just come over and get ice all the time?
No, we don't even like associate with the neighbor, you know.
What?
No.
That's suspicious.
Yeah, mad weird.
Is that the first time he's ever come over there and asked? Woo. Getting nice and baked today. Dude, I want to smoke some of my Valley Fire, but every time I fucking do, I end up fucking just taking a nap like half an hour later. Kind of a pain.
All right. Sorry about that. All right. I'll smoke one more.
So yeah, everybody who's not watching right now, because there's 0 watchers, we will continue the cover crop talk and try and finish up the general knowledge of these different types of cover crops that are used and how, when, why, where, and how, where, and why, when, what, who.
Yeah, no, it's a important thing to cover, just like when you want to use it and shit, and throughout the
Yeah.
season. Okay.
That's so crazy. Yeah, hopefully over winter. Actually, I might not even have to because we're pretty in that already. We get a lot of rain. Hopefully, we get a lot of rain. You got a bullpeck? I got two.
Uh, yeah. Let me pack one right now.
I got two more, and then I got a boogie. Mm. Excuse me.
Yeah, dude, your fucking plants are huge.
Yeah, pretty big.
Pretty big. Fucking mean, they're massive. You said you're averaging 5 and like they're bigger. This one guy, Gorilla Grower, he thought it was like, man, he's got 15 pounders. You got 15 pounders, you think?
No. Nuggy Nick's got some 15 pounders.
Yeah. You think you definitely got some pushing 10 though, right?
Oh yeah. He's definitely pushing 10 or over.
No, I'm
I
saying
mean,
you.
I
I'm,
might get lucky and get 10 pounds out of one of my plants.
right, okay.
You know, but I think I'm gonna get like 7, around 5 to 7 per plant.
Yeah, it's still really good though, you know.
More than I need.
The more soil, you know, the more rich, you know, natural soil you keep adding, and the bigger hole, you know, the more volume of soil you add, obviously the big. At the end of the day, more roots, wider the
Yep.
roots get, bigger the plant canopy is going to get, more yields you're going to get, right?
Yep.
So,
Healthy roots.
you know,
Healthy
if
roots.
you keep adding more soil, uh, I don't know, but then again, if your plants got any bigger, you know, they fucking might lose space, right?
Oh yeah,
You-
if they were as wide as Nuggy Nick's, dude, I
You'd
would.
you'd have to like relocate. You'd have to move around like certain holes and shit, and completely reorganize the garden, right?
Yeah. Like over here, back here towards the back, I couldn't do that. Like it gets crowded back here really easy. But up here in the front, I can get away with plants that big. I mean, last season my plants were about that size.
Right.
Or about that wide. I had a couple of them that were that wide, especially the Pheno one. That one was so
Yeah.
pretty. It was so beautiful and perfectly
Yeah.
round.
Yeah. No, I'm fucking definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely gonna try to get this fucking license in Maine. There's like 4 tiers to a license, and like they all go by square footage, and like the first one's only a first one you can grow up to 30 plants and like have like fucking 500 square feet, and the second one's like 2,000 square feet, then 7,000 square feet, then 20,000 square feet. So you can grow as many plants as you want in that uh, area of square footage, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I want the smallest license, a 10,000 square foot one,
Yeah.
or 5,000 square foot one. I really don't need to be doing that much. That you know, and I
Five.
don't want that big of a team and shit.
How big is like 500 square feet? Like what's like a
That's like a little. That's like this space out here. That I have.
that's like the size of your garden, you'd say?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's probably bigger. It's probably 2 in my garden,
Oh, okay.
maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and
500 square feet. So now this is probably about 500 square feet, close to it. Nah, this is like 300.
oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it'd be a little bit bigger.
So yeah, yeah, I would try. I'm gonna try to get the second license, which is like 2,000 square feet, and fuck, that'll be enough, man. You
Yeah.
know, because like any bigger, you're really gonna need mass amounts of help if you're going a real big commercial size. You know, like hundreds and hundreds of plants. You know, that's like too big for like
Yeah, I
Wait,
only want to do like
for one guy.
200 plant operations.
Yeah, it's still
Like,
huge. I
but
definitely need
I
it.
want to do it mostly for breeding purposes, not for selling
Definitely need
flower.
good help. Definitely need a lot of help with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Gonna need a team of 10 at least.
yeah, yeah. It's people. I know what you mean, man. It's people you really got to be able to trust. Because I know what it's like. I don't. You gotta really trust people when you bring them into your garden and shit. I know. Totally get that.
Yep.
It's like
And
fucking.
everybody's got to be on the same page too
They
with
they got to know what
uh
they're doing. You know.
yeah, with soil biology and understanding soil science stuff like that. Everybody's just got to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Especially when you're coming into somebody else's grow operation, or like this is their life, this is your job. You're not here to do your thing, you're here to do their thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that. Yeah. That's really what I would love to do, man. Like in Maine, like get one of the biggest license, which is like there's a 7,000 square feet and a 20,000 square feet, and
Yeah.
fucking yeah, and it's really like I don't know how much it really is. It's like I don't know really how much it is to get it. You know, it's not that much though. But yeah, I don't know. You're gonna definitely. I was thinking about going like out west, but it's like I think Maine's like Maine's where I'm gonna go. In the future.
Yeah.
Definitely cold winters though, so it's just something to think about. We'll have to prepare. Getting like getting like snowed in and shit. But like I like
You
that.
get full yet? I gotta bounce.
Yeah, I got it packed.
All right.
All right, man. Cheers.
So yeah, cheers, mates. All right, y'all. Well, close out this episode and see you all on episode 3. You got any announcements?
No announcements right now, man.
No
Fucking
announcements. All right, all right. Yeah, as far as on my side,
this.
keep an eye out for episode 3 of this building soils talk. building
Yeah.
building
Every
soil talk.
You're just gonna be doing it
And
every
cover
Sunday.
crops. Um. Uh. I think right now we can shoot for next Sunday, because we have the information that we're going over, so we
Right.
can shoot for next Sunday. Um. And then when we start a new chapter, I'll go from there. But
Right.
yeah. As far as that goes, just keep an eye out for the special Croptober jam session
Oh
here
yeah.
in my garden on
Yee.
Notes. It will also probably maybe be through this channel too. And yeah, we'll be having some other videos coming up. Just keep your eyes peeled. And yeah, if this is your first time tuning in, hit that like, subscribe, and bell. And let's get it cracking. Let's get
Hell
to
yeah.
work.
It's the
And
Lit G podcast,
yeah,
motherfucker.
so
Gonna be
all right,
going on
y'all.
for a while too.
Oh yeah, we got lots,
This,
lots and
this,
lots
this,
of
is,
stuff
this is
coming up.
just the beginning.
Yep.
Only the beginning.
All right,
All
y'all.
right.
Well, see you on episode 3. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.
And as always, same as every day.
So yeah, you said next Sunday you want to do it again?
Yeah, we'll shoot for next
All right.
Sunday.
All right.
Can be kind. The
Talk to
people
you.
live free, stay IRIE. Peace.